All right, welcome to A Grace to Grow. D and I are super excited. We get to interview one of our young one, Kyerra Lindsey. She is the youngest daughter, and she's gonna share on her, I guess, memory of any couch time or the spoon. So, babe, you wanna lead Kyerra into this segment?
Sure. So early on, we talked about couch time and how the kids they were insecure in some ways that they probably didn't even realize it, and they all had their different ways of showing it. We had two there that sucked their thumbs, and then we had one who carried around a spoon. So Kyerra, I wanted to ask you: do you remember couch time or anything about your childhood with that spoon?
I don't necessarily really remember like couch time because I don't think we was really present, like in the room when y'all did it.
Mm-hmm.
I do remember y'all spending time together, like talking more. I do remember that started happening, and I felt like, no, that's kind of weird. Like, why aren't we invited?
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely remember my spoon because I tell a lot of people like I didn't have a pacifier, but I definitely carried a spoon, and to this day I still love spoons. Like I would keep a spoon in my mouth, like. I don't know. For me, it was a comfort thing for me. Like, and it brought security.
Mm-hmm.
And even with my boyfriend now, we talk about like I had attachment issues. Let's say that. I love my things, and that spoon was mine. It was a blue tip spoon, and little baby spoons. That spoon was mine. I took it everywhere, and I remember it, and I love it. I wish I still had it. So I love that spoon.
Let me ask you this: how did it feel? Do you remember early on in our marriage? Did you remember any of the arguing? How did it make you feel?
Do I remember? I remember. I actually remember a lot, and that's probably why I'm still the child in the house. That's probably why. Honestly, still trying to get it together. But I do. I think that's why I enjoy seeing where y'all are now, because y'all always say I grew up with y'all, which is very true. But I do remember like a lot of the arguments, and I remember like shielding Kendrick from it a lot, making sure he was occupied, my little brother, making sure he was occupied so he really, didn't get to see what was going on. But of course he probably knew too. But boy, it was a lot. It was a lot.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
When did you begin to see a shift, and can you put your finger on, can you say, hey, when mom and dad did this,
Mm-hmm.
I began to see this, or do you remember any change that caused the atmosphere to be a little bit different?
I can definitely say us getting older kind of actually helped, just the growth in us being aged, because I think the older we got, the less you all had to do for us. I guess you said we became more independent, so y'all had more time to focus on each other.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like the older I got, I didn't have to be shielded from like so much. And of course, I don't want to say I grew up fast, but I mean like I love being around y'all, so I definitely took heed to a lot of things that were happening.
Mm-hmm.
But I think us moving to Greenville, well, Simpsonville, that area, whatever you want to call it, definitely, I don't want to say trigger something, but it was like a huge transition in our family. Like Kayla, she started high school, Kendrick, elementary, and me was middle school. And for y'all, it was like this, only it's 30 minutes away, but it's completely different from Clinton. It is a day and night situation. So I feel like you all found like your own identity kind of when we moved up here. Like my mom was able to be mom, find friends, out, be more than just work. And then you were able to be like, you changed a lot. You didn't yell as much. You would definitely like, I could tell those times, like, I mean, I'm petrified of yelling. Like yelling, want to break me down, yell at me. But you definitely took more responsibility, I guess you could say, when we moved up here. I felt like you had more of a leadership role versus a competitive role with mom.
One more thing before we close. In Growing Kids God's Way, we talked about the couch time, but they also introduced the wisdom worker.
I don't like
So
that.
before you leave, you want to share a little bit on that wisdom worker and what it was?
I can't stand Growing Kids God's Way. I do not like it. Does it work? Yes. I mean, I turned out fine. But the wisdom worker, literally, y'all, on one side it said wisdom, and the other side it said cat paws, and I got beat so much.
You did not get beat.
Dad!
You just got a lot of wisdom.
You right. You right. That's why I'm still in this house.
So it's like a small little
Strap.
And then
Yeah,
what I
strap.
tell y'all, it's worse than about, like, me and my brother would take turns hiding it. And I mean, like, that thing was, I don't want to be wise. We felt like that. But I'm thankful for it. I'm glad they did it because, again, at think I turned out fine.
Yes. But in all things, we are still growing and learning, and I think the parents have to realize I had to make a big sacrifice in making sure I pushed to change myself. I had to listen more. They would say I was yelling. They would say I was mean, and I'll be honest, I'm not mean. I've been this way all my life, and
But bro,
until,
you mean?
until I was not mean.
You're right.
I was mean, yeah. But
we all just
because I was in that mindset or in that personality for so long, I thought it was a natural thing. But I think more so me trying to get them to listen to me caused me to change my tone, to change my, I guess, the personality, to speak at a pace to where they could really feel that I was concerned. Like I told you in one of the segments, I just roared like a lion. They come in and ask a question, and I didn't want to be bothered. I gave them an answer with one loud roar. Get away. Look, don't bother me. So taking a minute to learn to do that, definitely I can contribute some of that to growing kids God's way and my kids' response.
So, Kyerra, thank you for joining us in our discussion about couch time, and definitely want to invite you back on some other topics that we'll be sharing later.
Ooh, thank you, honey. Thank you. Why not?
She will tell the
I will
absolute
breed them to filth.
Yes.
a grace to grow.